Good evening and warm welcome all of you to TMA webinar on NRI taxation and investment management. Respected Chief Guest, CAG Ramasamy. It is my proud privilege and great honor to welcome all of you to this webinar on NRI taxation and investment management. Eminent and legendary speakers, CAG Ramasamy on overview of NRI taxation and investment management. Now I request CAG Ramasamy sir for the overview of the session, overview of NRI taxation and investment management. As introduced earlier, he was a past president of ICA, and many of the chartered accountants from Middle East attending this program. During this session, they requested kindly touch upon some of the professional opportunities of NRI members even when they return, because of this situation, many of the NRI chartered accountants are planning to return back to India. Over to you, sir. CAG Ramasamy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Dear Mr. Soni, thank you very much for the nice introduction. Mr. Soni, the president of TMA of Trichur, Mr. Seju, secretary, and Mr. Ajax, CA Ajax from Dubai, NRI Chartered Accountants Association, my great friend and the reservoir of the knowledge in the international taxation, CA TP Ostwal, Mr. Somshekhar, a person has vast experience in the field of banking and investment, my respected friends, chartered accountants, participating this webinar organized by the TMA jointly with the NRI Chartered Accountants. Good evening to all of you. At the outset, I must thank the President of TMA, Mr. Soni, who has given me this opportunity to join this webinar and interacting with all of you in a fruitful and purposeful manner. Friends, two important points which I have to share with all of you. One is relating to a non-resident, resident, taxation of non-resident, tax planning, as well as the professional opportunities for chartered accountants who are all coming back to India, going to set up their practices. We have wonderful tax expert on international taxation, Mr. TP Ostwal, is going to take all the issues related to the NRI taxation, especially with reference to the Finance Act 2020. Friends, we have seen that in the last few years, the continuous changes, amendments are taking place in the Income Tax Act, especially with reference to the international taxation. Number of amendments have come to identify the areas of tax collection for the government. In fact, from the beginning of this government, the first term itself, previous term itself, a lot of issues have started relating to the bringing back the amount slashed outside India as to be taken back to India into the economy. The number of initiatives the government has taken under the supervision of the Supreme Court, they have presented on many issues. Later on, the government had started about the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code in 2016 to identify the areas of banking sector, the defaulters, the chronic failures of the repayment of loans to the banks. Similarly, that have started working, and the government has introduced the one tax for the nation. One nation and one tax, merged the many taxes into single tax. They have introduced the goods and service tax, which is implemented with effect from 1st July 2017 onwards. Prior to that, the government has brought out a very, very important surprise to the nation by demonetization. And then they have given an opportunity to people to bring back their money from foreign countries, disclose it, pay the tax, and to get away from all the difficulties of foreign assets and foreign income. And the number of changes they have taken in the case of a filing of an income tax return, the disclosure relating to the foreign assets by the Indian residents, those who are having an income outside India, those who are keeping the asset outside India. Then there is an amendment relating to their come out with a separate act, Black Money Transaction Act, Benami Property Transaction Act, so many amendments, and the plethora of the agencies has been constituted, and the prevention of money laundering. Many agencies have started working in India. There was a great heat on the industrialists, and many of the politicians have faced a great heat on the regulatory measures. The amendments, along with the changes in the Companies Act, the Companies Act was notified, Companies Act 2013 implemented. The number of changes have brought into the Companies Act so that there will be a proper disclosure of the financial information to the stakeholders. And very recently, I was also the member of that committee constituted by the government, which was also as discussed in during the last budget session related to decriminalization of the Companies Act. Many provisions under the Companies Act have been completely decriminalized. There is no criminal proceeding against the failure, non-compliances, but however, the hefty fine and penalty have started living on these non-compliances. The opening up of an economy by way of inviting foreign direct investments, opening up of an economy by way of inviting the foreigners to start up their own industries in India. The government has started working towards bringing the economy back in a proper position. The previous budget presentation, the finance minister very categorically mentioned in the parliament, the 5 trillion economy is our objective. We have to reach the 5 trillion economy. Even the budget presented in the February 2020, there was a high hope about this disinvestment, high hope about this merger of the banks. All of them started working on this way, and an amendment also has brought in on very, very important areas. In the case of an NRI, the number of amendments they have brought in, the amendments, especially with reference to the individuals, not with reference to any of the other agencies. The investment started pouring. Suddenly, this amendment has created some sort of a problem in the mind of the NRIs, whether I have to invest in India or not, whether I have to come back to India or not, whether I have to stay back outside India, enjoy all the benefits, and keep all my assets outside India. The limits they specified about your local income, about 15 lakhs, about this number of stays to be reduced from 180 to 120, and the number of amendments about these NRI investments are also created a big problem for the NRIs. In fact, once they presented in the budget bill presented in the parliament, the Kerala chief minister is represented before the finance minister as well as before the prime minister, stating that there should be an amendment is required. The NRIs are contributing the foreign exchange. Their investments are very important for the nation's growth. But unfortunately, it was not the correct way you have taken it up. And you're taxing the NRI is not perfectly correct. Luckily, certain amendment has taken place in the case of a final act in the parliament. Not that to the extent what they were expected, but still there is a debatable points are coming up out of these things. The non-resident Indians, where there is an income earned outside India, totally they need not pay any tax in India. A not ordinarily resident, their income outside India is not taxable. However, any business connection, professional connections, if there is a business set up That is to be taxed in along with the Indian income. So the government has come out with the clarifications. We are not going to tax the non-residents on the income earned outside India. But unfortunately, the interpretations are going to come in such a manner, the income earned by the non-residents outside India can be roped into Indian tax system. Though there are double taxation avoidance agreements are available, in spite of that, there are a number of disputes are happening because of the interpretation of these provisions. You can see the Supreme Court has come out with a decision relating to the many cases, how this interpretation has to be considered while interpreting the provisions of the intention of the provision, and later on they have come out with heavily on the department. But unfortunately, today the department is always pro-revenue. They would like to tax the entire income in India in case even for a slightest interpretation is in favor of the department. We all know that the interpretations under the Indian tax laws vis-a-vis the interpretations arising out of double taxation agreements, the double taxation avoidance agreement has to be prevail on these aspects. Unfortunately, the implementation point of view from the international taxation perspective also, the department is not able to reach a conclusion in a proper manner. That is why the litigations are pending. For example, the transfer pricing provisions are interpreted in different manner by the department. Huge amount of transfer pricing cases are pending before the tribunal, high court, and as well as Supreme Court. For an investment made by the NRI in the form of a deposit in India, their interests are exemption, and they are giving they are allowed to invest in the equities through the proper channel, and till they reach India, it's not to be taxed. Capital gain exemption has to be given. So many provisions are there. The investment in the form of a opportunity for NRI is now curtailed because of these provisions. Luckily, we have Mr. Worsawal is having a vast experience in the case of a taxation on NRIs and interpretation of the provisions relating to the NRIs, the number of stay, the stay with reference to the excess stay with reference to the various reasons, and even for COVID, now the stay has been, the government has given certain notifications, even an excess stay can be considered to be not to be considered for the purpose of computing the number of days stay in India. Similarly, the provisions relating to the sale of property in India, I have seen certain questions. The tax deduction is mandatory in India. Only in case if there is a capital loss, what will happen? That is the question has come. You have to apply for to the department for the no deduction or lesser deduction, low deduction. These are the difficult, inconvenient positions the NRIs are facing nowadays. The investments are also, now you can see that the market conditions are not conducive for a proper investments. Even there is changes are taking place. The NRI is not aware of this, what is happening in the market conditions. Naturally, they have to guided by the investors. They should support them to proper investments. Mr. Soni has told me that about the NRIs, chartered accountants are coming back to India. What are the business opportunities are opened up for them? See, many NRI chartered accountants working in the Dubai and all UAE places, they have a exposure to the administration, exposure to the local laws, but their exposure to the Indian laws, Indian conditions are very less. Their opportunity cannot be in the form of a practice of Indian laws unless they have a very strong background about the laws prevailing in India relating to taxation, relating to insolvency and bankruptcy code, relating to the Indian Contract Act, relating to the interpretation of the various provisions under the Income Tax Act. Companies Act totally changed today. So the concept of technology is taking back the entire personal activities of the professionals as on today. Today, the filing of an income tax returns, anywhere in the world you can file your income tax returns. Outsourcing of an work started in India, for the consultant outside India, the Indian chartered accountants are providing support as an outsourcing point. Many Indian chartered accountants are providing support to the chartered accountants in USA and Australia by way of bringing out their filing of returns and consultancy they are providing to the other chartered accountants outside India. So in India, another area which we have to understand that the Indian chartered accountant profession is now focusing on many areas, especially on the auditing standards, accounting standards, Ind AS. All these things are to be clubbed together for listed companies, unlisted companies, private unlisted companies, public unlisted companies. All these things are now gearing up towards the accepting the Indian accounting standard and auditing standard. In fact, internationally we have accepted the IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard, which has been modified in India for the purpose of Indian conditions by our institute, which was accepted by the government and notified by the government Ministry of Corporate Affairs for an applicable to the certain entities. You can take the entities like banking sector, it's still waiting. Listed companies are accepting, they are all started their financial reporting with the Ind AS applicability. And the changes are taking place, very fast changes are taking place in India. A chartered accountant with vast experience working there, maybe in the outside India, may not be immediately they can take up any of this assignment in an individual capacity. So the opportunity for them to strengthen their learning capacity and then strengthen their working capacity and then move with the certain big firms, join with them, work with them, learn, and then you can have your own firm, your own setup, you can do that. This is a form of tax practices. The GST law more or less settled in India. GST law settled, income tax law settled, Companies Act new law settled, the insolvency and bankruptcy law settled. So all these law now has been combined together working in India. Very unfortunately, the situation in India is now the COVID-19 is totally changed the entire scenario of economic opportunities in India. Considering the present situation, the concessions given by the government to the MSMEs and also giving certain facilities for the existing borrowers for giving them the moratorium period and also providing them the EMI, postponement of EMI. All these things are helpful to the industry, but unfortunately the moving of labor from one place to the other place has created again a problem in the case of a manufacturing sector. So considering the present situation, if a chartered accountant from Dubai wants to come back to India, first of all, he has to prepare his own reserves in India. So the reserves should be, at least is capable of withstand the present economic situation at least for about 2 years. So when you're bringing back your reserves, you must understand what is the resident, not ordinary resident, whether my reserves have to be taxed or I have to keep my reserves outside India. I will use the reserves in India by starting my practice or starting my own business and all these things. The technology is the moving business in India now. World over, the Indians are the very strong technology survey. They're all the strong people in the technology. They were able to control the technology in this world. You take that many of them, the Google, IBM, all of the Indians are working there. They are able to control the technology world over. But unfortunately in India, the technology is now bringing the Indians together. For example, you take these webinars. We never expected we are going to organize a webinar for the people in NRI chartered accountants as well as the chartered accountants within India, all the management consultants in India or the management association in India. We never expected that. Today we are all discussing about many areas relating to the management, investment, NRI, taxation, tax planning and all these things. So the technology has changed the life of the Indians today. We are joining together, bringing the technology into in the home, and we are working from home. That's another area which we have to consider it. So any chartered accountant is having a knowledge in technology, strong foundation in technology. He can work from Dubai itself for an Indian firms, for Indian investors, for Indians, those who are interested to work in the Dubai and other places. And another area which we have to consider it, the digital economy in India is growing now. The institute also coming out with the digital accounting standard board. So the e-commerce, which was very slow progress in India, now it is #1 in India. So everything you can get it online. Your presence is not required in everywhere. Very recently concluded bank audit conducted by our chartered accountants. They were able to do the bank audit by not visiting the branches, but by getting the information by way of internet possibilities through computers. They were able to take all the documents, verify it, approve it. They gave their own audit reports, maybe with certain reservations. Similarly, the ABCD concept is picking up in India. What is ABCD concept? A means an artificial intelligence. That's a very important concept. Blockchain technology is coming up very fast in implementations, and then cybersecurity, data analyticals, they're all very fast is happening in India. So all these things is a strength for the chartered accountant. If you come back, if you want to start something in a newer manner, you have to start. A chartered accountant in Bangalore, very recently I heard, and I met him also very long back. They are having about 200 partners throughout India as well as outside India. Their office is functioning only with laptops. There is no single paper available in their office. Everything only by way of an internet transactions or maybe a banking transaction, which is whatever they're taking place. Their audit only by way of through the computers. Nobody carry any papers except computers, laptops. So the 200 partners joining together, running a firm with the technology platform, it is a very important for this. A chartered accountant with a very limited knowledge on technology cannot be going to survive in India. So that is the present situation. So the investment opportunities, Mr. Somsagar will definitely give you an idea, and tax planning and residential status. What is your position now? As on today, you are in a good position for coming back to India or not, or you want to invest in India and you have to pay global tax or not. So this is the very important amendment which will be very helpful to all of us to understand on how to interpret the various provisions, how to come back with this clutches of these provisions. That's very important to all of us. So with this, I am thankful to Mr. Soni and the team for this wonderful opportunity they have given to me to join this seminar, interacting with all of you, get the feedback from you, what is happening in the world over related to the NRI taxation, so that we can take the measures, we can take back all your queries or grievances, we can pass this message through our ICA to the Finance Ministry. If possibly we have to give for, maybe this section may be postponed for 1 more year, like that we can request them for till this COVID-19 has to be settled fully. With this, I once again thank the organizers for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, CAG Ramaswamy sir, for your excellent speech. The audience got an excellent idea about how to go about in taxation, as well as when they are going to set up their own practice, how they should plan. Thanks a lot, sir, for joining with us.